Hi, Maurice White here with a description of the albums of Earth, Wind, and Fire. The first album is Last Days and Times, which was recorded in 1972. There's a couple of great songs on the album that got us on the radio. One of the tunes was called Mom, written by myself and Verdine White. Another tune that got notoriety for us was Power. It opened up a whole new area for us. But the band at that time was an experimental band. We had Ronnie Laws, who went on to have success of his own, and Roland Bautista, who left the band and came back and worked with us much later, 5 years later, and Jessica Cleaves, who went on to work with Parliament Funkadelics. So we had a good lineup, but the album was our introduction to the world. Okay, 1973 rolled around, and we did an album called Head to the Sky. Head to the Sky had some great songs on it. The title Head to the Sky was a hit, and opened up a new area for us. The album went platinum. It was our first platinum record, and the rest is history. There's another tune on the Head to the Sky album called Zanzibar that got a lot of airplay, especially on FM radio. And it was good for the band because it kind of put us in sync with the musicians of that day. But Keep Your Head to the Sky was the single, and it did pretty well for us. Hi, Maurice White again, to give a description of the albums. The next album we recorded in 1974 was Open Our Eyes. We still was in search of our sound and still kind of bringing it all together. We were close, but still not all the way there. We had a lot of potential, and I knew we were headed in the right direction. Some of the hit from that album was called Mighty Mighty, and it opened up a whole new area for us. That was the first album that Charles Stepney became totally involved with us on. He co-produced the album with me, and it came out great. It was a great working experience, but it kind of formulated the group in a sense of a direction and a sound. Open Eyes. The next album that really turned our whole career around was called That's the Way of the World, and that was 1975. This particular album was co-produced by myself and Charles Stepney, and this album proved to put us on the map as far as a viable group and a group to contend with. This was a special album. It started out as being a soundtrack for a movie called That's the Way of the World, produced by Sig Shore. The movie came out and bombed, but the music of the group was so strong it caught on, and we had a big hit with Shining Star that stayed at the top of the charts for 4 weeks. Another good tune that came from the album was That's the Way of the World, title of the album. And another good tune that came from that particular album was Reasons. We had a triple platinum record, you know. It was a good run for us. In the meantime, we were touring so much that we didn't have an opportunity to go in the studio to record another album right away. So in 1975, also we released the live. We released a live rendition of our show, and the album was titled Gratitude, and that did very well for us. We also had 4 additional studio tracks on the Gratitude album, which was Can't Hide Love. Yeah, Can't Hide Love was actually the song they went into the album for. Some of the other songs were songs we had recorded before, but we were doing them live, so it was had a different spin to it, you know. Sun Goddess was another one that we recorded for Ramsey Lewis. It was also on the Gratitude album. A lot of good things on the Gratitude album. You should check it out. A tune called Celebrate was very nice. And the live version of Reasons is on there too. That's a very good rendition of Reasons. Okay, so we continue. 1976 brought us into a different place. We were still working with Charles Stepney and having a great time with him, but Charles Stepney passed during the time we were recording the album Spirit. That was in 1976, and he died right in the middle of us recording our album. I think we had just finished a couple of days before doing Getaway, which was a hit from that album. It brought us all. It was a very hard album to do because emotionally we were affected by the death of Charles Stepney. He made a great contribution to our music, and we surely miss him. So we titled the album Spirit in dedication to him. But we gained new ground, and we started to tire a bit because we had been touring for such a long time. Till I took a vacation for once in my life. Took a vacation and went to South America for 6 weeks. And I just toured South America by myself, me and my lady. We just went all over South America. And I spent a lot of time in Brazil and got the Brazilian bug, I came back with Brazilian music all in my bones. So it was a good move, and that's where the tune Brazilian Rhyme came from. My influence of listening to Milton Nascimento and many other great artists on the Brazilian scene. They got in my blood. So that takes us into the next project, which would be I Am. I Am was recorded in 1978. That was my introduction to David Foster. That's where David Foster and I hooked up. David Foster and I went to Carmel, where I had a place in Carmel, and we wrote the first segment of the album, which was the first 7 songs. Wrote those in 3 days, and it was a great experience for me to work with artists as talented as David Foster. We had a couple of hits from that album, Boogie Wonderland and After the Love Is Gone. Both were big sellers. That album sold very well for us. It's one of my favorite albums. The next thing we did was in 1980, and we did an album called Faces, which was a double album. Faces sold very well, but it didn't get the recognition that the rest of our product had gotten, because it was released during the time of a recession. So there was a lot going on, and it's a great album. Even today, it has some great songs on it. The next album we did was called Raise, and that was released in 1981. That's an album where I did a lot of singing with Wanda Hutchinson of the Emotions, and the album did very well. We had a tune on there called Let's Groove. Yeah, I can remember Let's Groove. Yeah, Let's Groove was a million seller, and it stayed at the top of the charts for about 4 to 6 weeks, which was a long run for us. It got airplay all over the world. That particular tune, Let's Groove, has influenced the whole rap sensation around the world. It's been covered by so many people, So that's where that's at. The next, the album we released in 1983 was called Power Light, and we had a tune called Straight from the Heart, and Fall in Love with Me was a hit from that album. That was the album that was not promoted properly, but it had some great tunes on it. Side by Side being one of those songs. And we had introduced the steel drum, which is a brother from Jamaica, and he really made a contribution to it. He was recommended to me by Grover Washington Jr., so I was very happy with the way it came out.